Hey everybody, it's Kevin DeWald of Prolego coming to you from beautiful downtown Savannah, Georgia, my home. I just got back from the gym a few minutes ago and decided to stop by Chatham Square, which is one of my favorite downtown because it has all these amazing live oak trees, and I'm sitting underneath one right now. So I want to talk to you a little bit today about one of the most common criticisms I hear about GPT-4 and its use in enterprise AGI, or really any sort of enterprise software applications. And one of the common criticisms is, well, we can't use this in software because it produces inconsistent results, right? And so before I get into that and describe why I don't think that's the case, I want to talk about why that type of reaction is so common. All of us like to think that, all of us talk about how much we love innovation, and we like innovation in the abstract, right? Until we encounter something that's truly innovative. And then a lot of us instantly reject it because it competes with our view of the world. And we all do this. But in fact, some of the best investors, when they see this sort of emotional response to technology, that strikes them as an opportunity. And so Dave McClure, the founder of 500 Startups, used to have this saying where he looks for things that you want to kill or love, right? And he didn't use the word love, but I'm sure if you know Dave, you can kind of figure out what he said. So usually when you find kind of technologies that are evolutionary, they don't tend to bring out those same kind of responses. But when things are truly change people's worldview, that's when they can just go a little bit nuts and they become very emotionally charged in their reaction, although they're instantly rejected. So two recent examples, the migration from on-prem service to cloud, right? So that was not the kind of technology move where we saw really strong emotional reactions for people. Now, people debated, the challenges, security issues, and those were all real, and we worked through those over a period of years. But nobody was freaking out about the cloud migration. And the most contrary example I know for the past 15 years, of course, is Bitcoin, right? Which does get some religious reactions on both sides of the fence. And in particularly the comments by folks like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, who are arguably the most successful capitalists ever, when they start using language like calling it, venereal disease and rat poison. When I hear that kind of emotional response from people, that's when my ears pick up, and that screams opportunity. So anyway, this isn't about crypto or Bitcoin. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So let's get back to GPT-4. So with that in mind, why do people have this reaction? So they're having this reaction because based on all traditional rules about building good, scalable enterprise software systems, they're right. I will, in the notes below, I'll include some examples from Chip Wynn's fantastic little essay on LLM ops. Sorry about that. Some impatient tourists in the background. She gives some examples of why it's hard to build applications with GPT-4 because of this constraint. And let's be clear, you don't want to try to build a software application that spits out inconsistent results. It makes it really difficult to do like unit testing and integration testing to maintain consistent reliability and everything you want to do with an enterprise system. So of course, based on all traditional software development schemes, this is a bad idea. However, what if everything changes? And in particular, there's this assumption that the output of the large language model is going to go into a more traditional type of software processing environment where you're going to put structured information in databases and have very, sort of deterministic rules engines that are processing it. But what if the output of the LLM is read by another LLM, or a person or some other interface that makes it easier to accept outputs that vary, that are generally consistent with meaning, but have maybe slightly different ways of saying it. And we know that type of way of building systems is possible because we have an example of a way to do it already, and that example is people, right? We don't always produce the same results. We don't put information the same way, but because we're communicating with other people, we can reason and help discover exactly what they're talking about, and not everything needs to be codified into a specific deterministic rule, and that's why we're able to use language to communicate. And we can use the same thing with GPT-4. So if you can imagine, as we start to build these kind of systems with a framework like LangChain, where you can link together, or chain different language models together, where the output of one feeds the output of the other, suddenly it becomes really exciting because we're able to build things that are very complex, very, very fast by linking these different models together without having to build a lot of the very complex, tedious, time-consuming infrastructure, the unit tests and integration tests, and everything comes with enterprise software. Anyway, I hope that's helpful. Obviously, we have a very long way to go. This is right at the very first inning of this process. But all I would say is that when you hear somebody saying that GPT-4 can't work and won't work because it produces inconsistent results, you may want to ask a few more questions to the person who's making that claim and see if you can get them to think a little bit different about the way the future may work. All right, thanks a lot. Take care.